Hi, Beaux Pilgrim here, Beaux Knows Insurance and Read Insurance. Today I'm going to tell you 3 ridiculous stories about insurance fraud that you're going to find hard to believe. So, insurance fraud is one of the leading reasons for higher insurance costs. Because of people taking advantage, lying, and stealing from insurance companies, those costs are being passed down to all the clients because of people taking advantage of those. There's not some sort of magic bucket that an insurance company can just go and pull from to pay for fraud. Those are all going to have to go into the costs of the company that are then distributed through insurance policies. So let's dive in and tell you about 3 different instances of an insurance fraud where someone filed a claim that was fraudulent and then were caught. So the first one is about these 3 guys. Their names are Dave, Gerald, and Michael. Well, they come up with this ridiculous scheme that they're going to go out, cut down a tree with a chainsaw, and then cut off one of their arms, and then file it underneath a homeowner policy. So they decide that they're going to do this. Dave is the guy that comes up with the idea. Gerald is the one that has the homeowner policy as well as an umbrella policy. And then Michael is the poor guy that's going to lose his arm. So they go out, they cut down this tree, and they sever Michael's arm. And they take Michael as well as also the severed arm, and they bring him back to the hospital and to try to see if he can get that arm sewed back on. Well, the doctors can't. They still want to go ahead and file the claim. They get $1.5 million between the liability policy as well as also the umbrella policy, and divide that 3 ways, so each one of them get $500,000. Poor Michael, he gets his $500,000, but also he's missing an arm. Well, they wind up finding out that this was a big scheme, and they took advantage of Michael because he had a learning disability. Yeah, they paid him $500,000, but they took advantage of him because of this learning disability, and they brought him to court. And Dave and Gerald wound up spending time in jail because of the fraud. They were able to recover some of the money, but not all of it. And then poor Michael is still there without his arm. Story number 2 involves a duck hunt and a couple of buddies. So these 2 guys, they like to go and hunting and fishing, things like that together. And one day they decide to go out for a duck hunt. Well, they go out, and their names are Hank and Chuck. Well, Hank doesn't make it back, and Chuck does. Chuck comes back, and he's upset, and he says, I don't know what happened. Hank fell overboard. I tried to find him. I couldn't find him. They call search and rescue 911. They come out, try to find Hank's body, and they can't find him anywhere. So they're assuming that he just was lost to the swamp, or an alligator ate him, or who knows what happened. Andrea was married to Hank, and she files underneath their life insurance policy to take care of her expenses. There's no other claim filed. They don't, Andrea doesn't file any sort of liability loss against Chuck for, loss to her husband because it's just an accident. But fortunately, she did have life insurance in place and was able to file for $1.5 million underneath the life insurance so that she could go on with her life, take care of the funeral expenses, and then also provide a living income for herself. Well, we fast forward about a year later, and we come up to an event where the police respond to an incident where Chuck is holding Andrea at gunpoint, arguing and holding her at gunpoint and yelling. She's yelling back at him, you did it, you did it, you did it. Well, they arrest the 2 of them and start questioning them to figure out what in the world is going on. What's up with this, the fight that you've got? Well, we wind up finding out that the 2 of them come up with this plot. They've been seeing each other for years now. And Andrea won't talk, but Chuck says, hey, look, I'll tell you everything if I get a lighter sentence. And I'll even bring you to where the body is if we get a lighter sentence. Or he does. So he tells, and the story is that they decided to make a plan between the 2 of them to take Hank out for a duck hunt, and that Chuck would get rid of Hank. So Chuck shot Hank in the face, killed him, and then buried his body out in the swamp where nobody could find him. And then Andrea and Chuck divided the money. Well, fast forward, there's this incident now where they're arguing with one another, and Chuck is holding Andrea at gunpoint. Well, they both do time for insurance fraud as well as also murder, obviously. Chuck does get a little bit of a lighter sentence, but they both spend time in jail. The next incident involves a woman that's 22 years old and her boyfriend, and her having an incident where she cut her hand off while cutting tree limbs. So one day she's out there and she's cutting down these tree limbs with an axe, and somehow an accident happens that severs her left hand. Well, they bring her to the hospital and they are able to reattach her hand and regain most of the movement back in it. Well, she had an accident policy in place that was going to take care of the damages for that severed hand. Matter of fact, she had 5 accident policies that she had bought only 6 months prior to that. They ended up being around about $1.5 million between the 5 different policies that she had. Sounds a little suspicious, right? Well, whenever the different insurance companies all of a sudden realize, hey, there's 5 of us involved in this claim, they started investigating to see what's going on. Well, they find out that the boyfriend and the girl had decided to come up with this plan to defraud the insurance companies and to make a claim on these policies that they had just bought only 6 months prior. They wound up going to court and finding out that they did indeed commit fraud. And instead of claiming the $1.5 million, they wound up getting 30 years in jail. Look, fraud eventually catches up with people, and sometimes people do get away with it, unfortunately. But too many times they'll wind up talking about it, and there's opportunity for people to bring them to justice. Insurance fraud is one of the leading reasons for insurance costs rising each and every year. You know, each and every one of us can do something about insurance fraud and try to do our part to make sure that, one, we're not taking advantage of the insurance companies, but more importantly, if we see some sort of incident where someone has committed fraud, hey, report it to your local Department of Insurance or your insurance agent or your insurance company if you know who those are. But if you don't, you probably won't know those 2 things, but you can at least report it to the Department of Insurance for your state and let them know, hey, I think I see an incident of insurance fraud, and they will take care of the rest and probably leave your name out of it completely. So, hey, do your part and help lower your insurance costs by reporting fraud when you see it. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate you. Again, my name is Beaux Pilgrim with Beaux Insurance and Reed Insurance. Hey, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also that notification bell so you know when we post a new video. We do a new one every Thursday, and so you can come back every Thursday. We also post these on our website underneath our blogs. So check us out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up if you like this video. If you have any questions or any comments, hey, leave them in the comments section. I read them, I will respond to them. And if you have any questions or any other videos you'd like to see, hey, leave them in the comment section. I will be glad to record a video to help you to understand more about your insurance, to make sure that you are taking care of your assets and protecting yourself adequately. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day. And until next time, bye.